Double standards in family relationships, recognizing and resolving for more complete love. Hello everyone. Today we'll dive into a topic that's very familiar yet often overlooked. Double standards in family relationships. From husband-wife dynamics to multi-generational households, double standards can quietly infiltrate, causing misunderstandings and unnecessary pain. So, how do we recognize and resolve them to strengthen family bonds and foster more complete love? Let's explore together. Before delving into the details, let's outline the main points. First, we'll clarify what double standards are and their signs in marital relationships. Next, we'll explore their devastating effects, which can even lead to emotional abuse. Then, the article will suggest specific ways to address double standards between spouses. Beyond that, we'll extend the discussion to multi-generational families, a cultural hallmark in Vietnam, to see how double standards manifest and how grandparents, parents, and children can live harmoniously with mutual respect. Finally, we'll offer practical solutions to build a family free from the shadow of double standards. Signs of double standards in marital relationships. So, how do you know if there's an unwritten rule that applies only to one side in your household? Start by listening to your emotional signals. Do you often feel you must watch every word and action around your partner? Do you hesitate to speak up, share your true feelings, or express your opinions for fear of upsetting them? Do you constantly feel you're not good enough or unworthy? Sometimes, you may feel confused by how your partner treats you, especially when care and love seem to come from only one side. Do you feel trapped by their words or subtly controlled? Does it seem unfair that they're allowed to do certain things while you're not? These could be signs of a power imbalance in your relationship. You might even find yourself doing things you don't want to, just to appease your partner or maintain the relationship. In such cases, your emotions may feel like a roller coaster, swinging between highs and lows, leaving you exhausted and unstable. The harmful effects of double standards. What happens when these injustices persist without resolution? Sometimes, what we dismiss as small issues can sow the seeds of a rift. Unaddressed double standards in a marriage can morph into a form of emotional abuse. The partner imposing double standards may use them as a tool to manipulate, gain power, and control the relationship. Be wary of more severe signs of an abusive relationship. For example, your partner might pressure you into sexual activities against your will, exhibit extreme jealousy, constantly question or doubt you, or control every aspect of your daily life, from what you wear, eat, or spend money on, to what medications you take. They may closely monitor your activities, who you spend time with, your social media use, or even prevent you from seeing friends or family. If you're experiencing physical or emotional abuse, it's crucial to seek help. You never deserve to be treated this way by your partner. Resolving double standards in marital relationships. So, if you recognize double standards in your relationship, what can you do to improve the situation and nurture love based on fairness and respect? Don't worry, there are always ways to work through this together. Whether intentional or not, double standards can erode a relationship. If left unresolved, this unfairness can undermine trust, destroy intimacy, and breed resentment, potentially leading to a breakdown. Sometimes, your partner may not even realize they're imposing double standards until you gently point it out. An open and honest conversation can help them understand your feelings while giving you a chance to better understand their circumstances and needs. For an effective conversation, try these suggestions. First, think carefully about what you want to say. Take time to write down what you want your partner to know, including specific examples of double standards you feel they've imposed. Preparing your thoughts in advance will make the conversation smoother and help you feel more confident expressing yourself. Next, manage your emotions. When discussing the issue, Your partner's reactions might make you want to raise your voice, get angry, or even shut down. However, these approaches rarely yield positive results. Instead, stay calm, speak in a gentle tone, and focus on conveying your feelings and needs. If things get too heated, take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and calm your nerves before continuing. Another crucial step is setting clear boundaries. Remember that you have every right to say no to your partner, even if it upsets them. Your needs are valid and deserve to be heard and respected. Be assertive, clear, and direct in your communication to ensure your partner understands your boundaries, needs, and desires. A small note: while texting may seem convenient, avoid discussing sensitive issues like this through electronic devices. It's best to have a face-to-face conversation to fully gauge each other's emotions and attitudes. Finally, if resolving this on your own feels challenging, don't hesitate to seek couples counseling. Therapy can help you understand each other better, provide effective communication tools, and address double standards to rebuild trust and honesty in your relationship. What are double standards in multi-generational families? Now, let's shift to a context very common in Asian cultures, especially in Vietnam: multi-generational families. Do double standards exist here? And what do they look like? Simply put, double standards occur when we apply different measures or criteria to similar situations or people. For example, a man with multiple romantic partners might be seen as charming or attractive, while a woman in the same situation might face criticism or judgment. That's a clear double standard. In Vietnam's multi-generational families, where grandparents, parents, and children live under one roof, double standards can easily emerge, especially amid the blend of Eastern and Western cultural influences today. What's notable is that sometimes, those involved don't even realize they're applying double standards or believe they're an exception. Picture this familiar scene. Parents are cared for by grandparents in every detail, from meals and sleep to education and adulthood. Even marriage, grandparents may provide financial support, fund weddings, buy homes, or assist with their children's entrepreneurial ventures. This is a beautiful aspect of Eastern culture, and parents often accept this care as natural. However, when it's their turn to raise their children, the grandparents' grandchildren, some parents react strongly if grandparents try to intervene with traditional methods, insisting on raising their kids scientifically or in a modern, Western style. This inconsistency is clear. Parents embrace Eastern cultural benefits when it suits them but opt for Western values when it aligns with their desires. Double standards or cultural blending? Some might argue that selectively embracing the best of traditional and modern cultures isn't a double standard but a smart blend. But is that always the case? Let's dig deeper. Why do grandparents care for their children, our parents, so devotedly throughout their lives? It stems from a deep belief that, no matter how grown up their children are, even as parents themselves, they remain their babies, needing guidance and protection. If parents accept this belief by receiving meticulous care, both emotional and material, even as adults, they're implicitly agreeing that they're still children in need of guidance. So how can they expect grandparents to suddenly see them as fully independent adults capable of making flawless decisions when it comes to raising their own kids? This is a double standard, choosing only what benefits oneself. Other common signs of double standards in multi-generational families. Beyond child rearing. What other daily situations in multi-generational families might harbor double standards? There are plenty. Parents often take grandparents' care for granted. When asked if they're grateful, most would say yes, but they rarely express it aloud. Even when they do, it might feel perfunctory or critical. Like, "Thanks for not interfering in my business." Or, "I appreciate your help, but these are my kids." The gratitude is overshadowed by conflict or frustration. Meanwhile, parents expect their own children to show sincere gratitude, often demanding it be expressed verbally. This is a clear double standard. Another common scenario: when children raise their voices at their parents. Parents might say, "You can't talk to adults like that. I'm your parent, not your friend." But if the child responds, "Then why do you raise your voice at grandparents? I've seen you do it." How do parents explain that? Adults treat their own parents one way but forbid their children from treating them similarly, a classic double standard. Suggestions for healing and building harmony in multi-generational families. Despite these challenges, not all multi-generational families are riddled with conflict. So, what's the secret to harmonious, respectful, and loving coexistence across generations? Let's explore some valuable suggestions. First, grandparents and parents must agree on shared values and act consistently with them. For example, the family might prioritize values like responsibility, independence, and mutual support. Grandparents should have space for their own lives, time for friends and personal interests, not just revolving around their grandchildren. Parents, in turn, should embody their role as responsible adults, managing their work, lifestyle, and decisions independently while caring for their children. Grandparents can offer support, but parents shouldn't rely on them excessively for childcare. This independence and responsibility allow parents to gradually assert their autonomy in raising their kids. Second, both grandparents and parents should lower expectations and avoid demanding that others act exactly as they do, as long as actions align with shared values. Note that consistency applies to values, not necessarily actions. A shared value might be raising an independent, responsible child, but how grandparents and parents express this can differ. For instance, when a child falls, grandparents might rush to help them up, while parents might encourage the child to stand on their own. These actions may seem contradictory, but don't rush to assume conflict. What matters is understanding the reasoning behind each action. Parents let the child stand to teach responsibility. Grandparents help the child up while saying, "Be more careful next time, or you'll get hurt," which also teaches responsibility with love and support. Recognizing that both approaches aim for the same value, the child's growth, eliminates unnecessary conflict. Third, parents should sincerely acknowledge grandparents' efforts with deep gratitude. Only when this recognition is genuine will subsequent conversations become easier. Express gratitude in calm, loving moments, not during frustration or conflict. Be cautious with the word, "but." Saying, "I'm grateful for your help, but these are my kids," negates the gratitude, as listeners focus on what follows. Instead, separate gratitude from opinions. Acknowledge wholeheartedly, "I'm truly grateful for how you love and care for the kids." Save discussions about differing views for another time. Be fair to grandparents. They're not just clinging to outdated parenting methods. Take a moment to reflect. What valuable lessons from my parents, the grandparents, do I want to pass on to my kids? This fosters a fairer, more loving perspective toward them. Finally, when gratitude is well established, dialogue becomes much smoother. When parents follow these steps, conversations shift from confrontation to collaboration. If conflicts arise, revisit the family's shared values. Each side can adjust expectations and align actions with those values. Try using "and" instead of "but" in communication. For example, "I'm so grateful for your help. And since we've agreed on fostering independence, I'd like to try this approach." Multi-generational families are a beautiful cultural tradition. Depending on circumstances, each family will find its own path. If you choose to live together, every member should acknowledge, respect, and take responsibility for finding solutions that make this choice truly bring happiness and connection. Dear friends, Double standards, whether intentional or not, can be a major barrier to family happiness. Recognizing, understanding, and adjusting together is the key to building fair, respectful, and loving relationships, whether between spouses or across generations. May these insights equip you with perspectives and tools to nurture your family into a more complete and harmonious home.